Alright, so let's just get started with today's video. Not really anything that's super important that needs to be said at the beginning. So let's just jump right in, shall we? Because as you can tell by the title, today we're going to be talking about Detective Pikachu Returns. So let's jump right into the story. So the story goes, you're playing as Tim Goodman, who is a detective, with your partner Pikachu, who you two can understand each other, although Tim can't understand any other Pokemon and no other human can understand Pikachu. And the mayor is declaring it Pokemon Friendship Week, because they want to have Rhyme City, especially after the art incident from the first game, become a more open and friendly place for people and Pokemon to coexist. And of course from there, you start solving, a bad thing happens and it just snowballs from there into the full overall story. But anyway, let us get right into the gameplay.
Alright, so the gameplay of this game, it's pretty basic, not gonna lie. So what you end up doing is, of course, you collect, hey, this is what the problem is, and then you'll walk around. You've got your objective of if you need to talk to a certain someone, or if you just need to ask around for people, and it will also specify, of course, if you need to ask around for certain Pokemon. From there, you'll end up investigating, running around, and you'll find certain areas of interest that of course will be marked with an icon, and either just clicking on it, you'll just have, it'll just talk about whatever is the piece of evidence, and it'll pop it up with, specific text that is the important note to write down in your little detective notebook. Or it will send you into, like for instance, in the first mission, you're looking at a statue area and you have to look at all the areas of the statue to find all the little different clues to try and piece stuff together. Now from there, of course, once you've gathered enough evidence and everything, you can begin what is called deducing, where you go into your detective notebook and with all the testimonies or the artifacts or whatever that you need for the crime scene to prove what is going on and piece together what is the main question in order to figuring out the end result, then it'll have usually about up to 3 options that you can choose from of, here's how to explain, for instance, here's how to explain how the jewel got stolen. Did someone break in the door? Did someone unlock it? It'll be pretty simplistic things like that are going to lead up to the end of the overall case. And of course, you'll have to do this a few times with the different clues until you have enough evidence in order to come up with what is the answer to the main problem that started the whole case in the first place. And that's when you'll jump into a section where you'll be talking, running down, this is what happened, and you have to select the right answer for certain key events to prove what you're saying is true. Now, to be fair, there is no punishment if you click the wrong one. It just goes into dialogue of Pikachu or Tim being like, that doesn't really make sense, and then just X's out the option that doesn't work, and you can just pick another option. And it's the same with deducing. There's really not any punishment for doing anything wrong, to be fair. So that is, something to keep in mind. But otherwise, yeah, the gameplay, very simple. There's a few little quick time event things, like if you're having to, fight a Pokemon or something like that, or there will also be points where you have to use other Pokemon's abilities. For instance, you have a Growlithe and Pikachu will jump on the Growlithe and you can sniff. There's a couple other Pokemon, one pushes stuff around, breaks stuff. So you're also using some other Pokemon and their abilities. Gameplay, nothing too crazy, but it's fun, enjoyable, works great, nothing wrong with any of it. So now we are going to move on to my thoughts and opinions.
So I'm gonna preface this part by saying, full like disclosure here, I have not played the original Detective Pikachu on the 3DS. I have seen the movie. I saw it when it came out in theaters and we even bought it. Our kids love it. But that's beside the point. But just coming in with that full disclosure about my experience with this game. So honestly, because my husband bought it because he knows I like, you know, cozy, like the cozy game category of like life sims, and I like mysteries and whatnot. And I mean, I've always wanted to play as a Pokemon. So he got me Detective Pikachu Returns for Christmas. And I can say I enjoyed my time with it. It's a pretty short game. It took me, and that's even doing some of the side quests, about 11 hours to beat. So it's a pretty short game. It's not too intensive or anything. I will have to say, so these side quests, they don't really add much. They're just very basic things of like, there was one of like, can you find my Lillipup? And you just walk somewhere and find it. And there was another of like a Yamper's like, I'm hungry, go get me melted cheese from town. So basically just really simple find or fetch quests that don't take that long and don't take that much effort and everything. And considering it's on the Switch, there's not really like achievements for doing it. So, I mean, it doesn't add much in the sense of there's no story and everything, but considering they are so short, it also really doesn't take much away from your time of completing them. So yeah, no, I didn't complete them all, but it's really up to you if you want to do them or not. They're cute, you know, it's fun to talk to the Pokemon and everything, help Pokemon's problems. But honestly, the whole game itself, you can definitely tell, and I'm not surprised, because I mean, that's pretty much how the game is marketed and everything, especially for Pokemon game. It definitely is written for younger kids, like I would say kind of elementary, because the mystery and everything, it's very easy to solve, like the what's going on, and even in the specific like little missions, or I guess they're called cases, it can be very easy to like figure out what it is you need to do next. But in game, even if you know, the characters will sit there and deliberate. You still have to find, you know, whatever the clues are, you have to find the right one in order to be able to do the thing. Even if you're sitting right there and you're like, this is so obvious, of course the game still makes you go and do it. Now, I will say, with the like deducing, if you can find which is the right solution first, you don't have to find all 3 or 4, however many like options. You don't have to find all of them if you're able to find the right one first. Because there was one, I only had 2 options, and there was one I only found 1, and I happened to find the right one right away. So that is something, if you know for a fact you have the obvious answer because you managed to talk to the right person first or whatever, you can't just bypass talking to all the other stuff. And honestly, with the way the game is, like, if you do that, you're really not missing much in story or context, at least in my opinion, because you just want the right one anyway. That's the only answer that really matters. So yeah, it is really simple in that regard, but it's not bad. And I'm not saying that, oh, it's written terribly and everything, because I am fully taking into account this game was not marketed towards me, an almost 29-year-old adult. It was definitely marketed toward kids. So that is something to take with it. If you do want something that, you know, is a little more complicated and like complex and maybe isn't as easy to spell out and everything for like, you know, a kind of detective game, Judgment, I'm playing through that right now. That's a really good one I would recommend. Master Detective on the Switch, if you're looking for something more Switch specific. I haven't played much of it, but it definitely is for an older audience and definitely seems like there's a lot more like it's written for an adult audience, if you catch what I mean. And again, not to bash Detective Pikachu, like I said, it's just clearly written for a younger audience. So if you are wanting just a really chill, casual, doesn't take much, Detective Pikachu is perfect. And honestly, the story was actually pretty interesting. Like, I like the whole story of like, you know, and I guess spoilers for the game, but it's also kind of in the movie, so if you've seen the movie, then you would also know this, and maybe even the first game hints at it, but it's an interesting concept of like, you know, you're trying to find your dad and his like consciousness is fused within this Pikachu that you can talk with. Like, there's really cool and unique stuff in here. And I want Nintendo to do stuff more like that with the Pokemon IP, because does anybody remember the Pokemon Coliseum games? Pokemon Coliseum, XD Gale of Darkness? I had both. Didn't play XD as much, just wasn't much of my jam. But Pokemon Coliseum, I played the shit out of that game. I played that game so much. And honestly, like, they need to bring it back. But I wish they would do more diverse things, because a lot of the Pokemon games, they are feeling, you know, the same. So it's like, I want to encourage it. I haven't played Arceus yet. I know it is a little different. I do plan on playing that eventually, of course, because we have it. But even like the Mystery Dungeon games, I know those are really popular. I've never played them, but it's doing different ideas with Pokemon. It's like, you can do that. Explore these different ideas. And honestly, I love that Detective Pikachu does that, because there's really no Pokemon battling. Any of the battling that happens is like simple quick time event mashing the button. But I really like them trying to do something different with Pokemon, because there is a lot to explore. Because this game, you know, with it being Detective Pikachu, it explores a lot of, you know, the Pokemon living in the city and them kind of like being given more personalities and everything. And also, if you happen to hear my kids in the background, they scream when they're playing. I promise they are fine. Just if you happen to hear them, but they're just playing in their room. So just to clarify, if you hear any screaming in the background, especially my son, I don't know why he screams when he's having fun. But anyway, back to the game. So I really wish like they would explore more in like, instead of just Pokemon Trainer. Like, I get that's the big thing, and it's like, yeah, of course that's cool, you'd want to keep that and continue it, but we've seen game after game after game after game where you're being a trainer wanting to beat the Elite Four. Let's get some new stuff in. Like, let's encourage that. Like I said, Pokemon Coliseum, definitely need to bring that back. And I will say, so some more, I guess you could say, slight negatives of Detective Pikachu, just to, also something I kind of wanted to talk about is the character models, like in the corner when their picture is there and they're talking, and even just like the in-game, I don't know, I feel like they look a little cheap. And even by like Pokemon design standards, I feel like the models don't look super great. And then the picture, like the picture really does look like it honestly looks like a really weird, bad PNG. I'm not gonna lie. There's some stuff like that where it doesn't look the greatest. So this game also, and it does make sense because, you know, you can only play it on the Switch. It was obviously optimized for the Switch. I played it only on, what is it called, like TV mode, I guess. I never played it in handheld. And there were a couple times it got very small lag, but nothing crazy, nothing that ruined the experience. The game like flowed in like lag and everything, flowed perfectly well. I just also wanted to make sure, you know, I added that discrepancy. But honestly, I'm gonna give this game a 7 out of 10. And again, take that with a little bit of a grain of salt because, you know, like I said, I'm keeping it aware in this review that this game is obviously marketed and intended for children much younger than me. But anyway, that is going to be it for today's video. Let me know down below if you played this game, maybe what your favorite either Pokemon or spin-off game is, if you've seen the movie, any of that stuff. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a like. You don't have to, but it helps to let me know what y'all enjoy watching. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I upload every Friday. Link down below is my Discord, kind of getting more active in that. Second channel, I will get back into using that one day. Twitter, Instagram, very active on, and then my Twitch, which I stream Tuesday through Friday right now, at starting at 11:30 a.m., not p.a.m., 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's how the stream schedule goes right now. We're playing Yakuza Kiwami 2 over there. But yeah, again, that's all linked down below. And I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!